Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, there have been new major bombshells that have been dropped on all of us mostly on Donald Trump, but in the Donald Trump Jeffrey Epstein cover up. We now know for sure that Pam Bondi found Donald Trump's name in the Epstein files, and Trump has been caught telling his staff to stop talking about Epstein. So those are two facts. I'm going to lay out for you guys how we know that. We also know that because of unearthed photos, Trump actually had Epstein at his wedding, at one of his weddings. They were such good friends that Epstein attended Trump's wedding to Marla Maples. So these two guys were very tight. I have more evidence of that as I'm going to share. And more Republican members of Congress are now flipping on Trump. They're now demanding these documents. Also, one of the pardoned January 6 convicts is warning Trump that this could blow up in his face. And I'm not talking about just some random January 6er. I'm talking about one of Donald Trump's biggest stooges, one of his best foot soldiers. We also have another convenient Epstein-related death. Also, Epstein's brother is telling news outlets that Trump and Epstein were very close. They were very tight. So before I dive into all these details, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button below this video. It is free for you. It really, really helps the show. I greatly appreciate it. So anything you guys can do. And so on to the news. Here's what's new in this Epstein cover-up. So the Wall Street Journal just dropped a very damning and exclusive story. This was yesterday afternoon that this broke, and I'll show it to you right here. It says that Trump was told in May that his name did in fact appear in multiple Epstein files. So multiple times they found Donald Trump's name. Also, they found other high-profile people. The Journal said that they received this information from top Trump officials, and Trump was directly told by Pam Bondi and her deputy AG, Todd Blanche, who I mentioned just yesterday, I think it was. You know, Todd Blanche, that same guy who met with Epstein's convicted accomplice today in private, met with her this morning, and he's saying, oh, we got a bunch of information, but I don't want to divulge anything to the media. But her attorney is saying, oh yeah, she answered every question truthfully. The convicted child trafficker answered every question so honestly, you guys, just the pillar of moral value. And I'm sure it's just a coincidence that it's Todd Blanche who's going and interviewing her, right? Anyway, the article said, quote, they told the president at the meeting that the files contained what officials felt was unverified hearsay about many people, including Trump, who had socialized with Epstein in the past, some of the officials said. One of the officials familiar with the documents said they contain hundreds of other names. I mean, gosh, if only we had like an organization or some sort of government department that could investigate something like this, investigate unverified claims about potential criminal activity with minors. Gosh, I mean, maybe we should think about creating something like that, right? Oh, well, you guys, I mean, guess we'll never know if anyone's guilty. Are you freaking kidding me? And this reporting directly contradicts what Donald Trump said to the reporters last week. I don't know why I'm tripping over my words, but anyway, do you guys remember this? I played this clip for you guys last week. I think it was last week. It seems like forever ago, but anyway, it could have been 2 weeks ago. Donald Trump was standing outside with his press secretary, Kim Jong-Levitt, and here's what he told the reporter who specifically asked about this.
Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden information,
Yeah. Obama, as he once said. I'm sorry, I still say that Levitt's face just gives away the game. I think that she's just standing there. That is the look of a woman who just realized she is working for the biggest liar, and she's studying his face to see if it's going to show at all. Because she knows the truth. She knows that they found his name in these documents, and I'll explain to you why in just a second. But the Journal also alleges that FBI Director Kash Patel has privately told other government officials that Trump's name is in these files. That is according to people, they said, close to the administration. So again, she has to know. It's not like Pam Bondi knows, Patel knows, he's telling other people, and it hasn't gotten back to the press secretary. And there is no way that Trump is going to fire any of these people. This is why he's sticking up for them, because they know too much and they can take him down. These people are vile. They are soulless cowards. I mean, imagine standing up there day after day and you're preaching nonstop about protecting girls. We have to protect girls. Oh, the girls in the bathrooms, the girls in sports. Oh, protect the girls while I'm wearing my cross around my neck. And yet they're burying stories. They're burying facts and details and documents about actual accused predators who hurt little girls. These people are sickening. Any one of them could be a hero, right? One of them could step up, do the right thing, and go down in the history books as the most courageous cabinet official of all time. And instead, no, they're going to take the power and the money that they can get right now. They're going to keep their mouth shut so that MAGA doesn't get mad at them, and just toe the line. Speaking of which, NBC was told that this was by a senior Trump official, that the White House has placed a gag order on everyone in this administration. So let me bring this up for you guys so you can see here. So no one is allowed to talk about the Epstein case, they said, without quote unquote high-level vetting. The official said, quote, the communications office has to be directly involved in every aspect of this. Every I must be dotted and every T must be crossed through us. So they're clearly terrified. They are clearly flailing. I mean, look at this laughable Obama distraction that they're trying to push, right? And this is the thing, and this is what I told a guy, a MAGA man on Twitter. Even if Obama did it, which there is no evidence to back this up, this preposterous story that what's her name, Tulsi Gabbard is trying to push. But even if Obama did do something wrong, even if he broke the law, guess what? Trump's conservative SCOTUS judges, they said presidents have almost complete and total immunity. Too bad. Tried to warn them, tried to warn MAGA. There is always a boomerang effect. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, well. Anyway, there was also this news from yesterday. So in an 8-2 vote, the House Oversight Committee voted yesterday to force the Justice Department to release all of the Epstein files. Surprisingly, 3 Republicans crossed the line and voted along with the Democrats. So it was cray-cray Nancy Mace, Scott Perry of the Stop the Steal fame, and some guy named Brian Jack, who I've honestly never heard of before. Unfortunately, though, this doesn't mean that the files would be released to the public. So they would just be released to the committee. And then, again, unfortunately, because the Republicans are in the majority, they're going to have the final say as to whether or not the public is going to be given any of these details. Of course, Democrats could leak. One of their staff could leak. I mean, whoops. Did I do that? Did I say that to a to a reporter? I mean, let's hope. But anyway, in the meantime, there was this as well, which comes as no surprise, right? We all knew this was going to happen. There was a Florida judge that they had petitioned, they had asked to release the Epstein documents, the transcripts from the grand jury. They denied it. He or she denied the request. And again, this was just related to Epstein's 2019 case. The problem is this is going to give the hardcore Kool-Aid drinkers their perfect out. So I guarantee if I go look on Trump's failing social media site right now, we're going to see these punch alcoholics over there. They're going to be saying things like, oh, see, Donald Trump tried. He tried to release everything. These liberal activist judges, they're shills for the Democrats. They don't want this to come. We all knew this was never going to come out. This was a bogus request from the start. And look who popped his head out from his slimy rock. Check this out. So Oath Keepers founder, Elmer Stewart Rhodes, and yes, his first name is Elmer, he is back at it. So he's involving himself in politics again, and he's warning Trump about defying his base. Rhodes, as I'm sure you guys all know, he is one of the January 6th participants or defendants. He was granted clemency by Donald Trump after being convicted and sentenced to 18 years in prison for seditious conspiracy and other crimes. So he was at this recent event in Texas. He was one of the speakers. I don't know. He may have been the main speaker. I don't know. I didn't look into it too much. But he talked about this Epstein case, and he told the audience, quote, I believe 90% of his own base understands that Epstein was up to something, and we know that's the tip of the iceberg. It's really disheartening to see President Trump just declare that to be a hoax. I don't think it is, and I think it's going to cause him trouble in his own base. It already is. However, as with all of these Trump pumpers, Rhodes is blaming everyone but Trump. So he said that Trump is just being misled by quote unquote bad guys. And then he said, quote, their job now is to distract him, run the clock out until he's gone without him actually going after the root of the deep state, the heart and soul of it. And I do believe the heart and soul of the deep state is all the dirty laundry that's held in all those files in the FBI, CIA, NSA against all these political elites. Someone in his circle has convinced him that, oh, this is like another Hunter Biden's laptop story. It's not. This is the deep state's dirty laundry in the deep state's greatest Achilles heel. I just sincerely hope that he keeps in mind that God saved him for a purpose. That purpose is to defeat the deep state. It's not to make great trade deals. It's not to have a great economy. It's not any of that stuff. The real heart and soul of it is to defeat the deep state, because if he doesn't do that, it's going to be exponentially worse for all of us. First of all, no, God didn't spare him. If anything, it's like, what's that old saying, God doesn't want him and the devil's not done with him yet? That's what it was. Rhodes. It was actually the devil who helped him to dodge that bullet. And isn't this like the MAGA base admitting that Trump is weak, that he's easily duped? Oh, he's being tricked. He's being fooled. He's got someone telling him this and that. And oh, I hope he wakes up. Seriously, I don't get how this is supposed to be a legit excuse. And this just goes to show, even when Trump guts the government, as he has, even when he replaces every single one of these people with his own loyal minions, they're still going to find a way to excuse his failures. Party of personal responsibility here, folks. Anyway, next we have news from Epstein's brother. So, in an interview with CNN, Mark Epstein said that Trump is, quote unquote, trying to cover his butt by claiming that the Epstein story is a hoax. And then Mark said, quote, "They were good friends and I witnessed it myself. Jeffrey used to sometimes tell me things that Donald said that were funny. I was talking to Jeffrey and he told me that he was talking to Donald and he asked Donald, 'How come you sleep with so many married women?' And Donald's answer was, 'Because it's so wrong.' Now, amongst guys, it was a funny line. Then, when we were on the plane a week or two later, Jeffrey asked Donald the same question. I know he did that for my benefit so that I could hear Donald say it. And Jeffrey asked him, 'How come you sleep with so many married women?' And Donald said, 'Because it's so wrong.' For Jeffrey to ask him that question, he would have to know that Donald slept with a lot of married women. And he probably got that information from Donald. That's not the kind of question you ask a casual acquaintance. That's a question you ask a good friend that you can get away with asking those kind of questions. So that gives you an idea of how friendly they were. Now, a couple things strike me about this. Number one, so Donald Trump wasn't just cheating on his wives, he was cheating with other people's wives. So that's the moral guy that he is. That's this, upstanding guy that God saved. Really? Okay. How quote unquote Christians can justify voting for this guy and these evangelicals. I mean, the biggest freaking hypocrites on the planet. Just so you guys know, I mean, there were other things that led to this, but one of the final nails in the coffin for me with the church I used to attend was knowing how many of them, including the pastor, voted for Donald frickin' Trump. Because I was like, you guys are a bunch of fucking morons. You're a bunch of hypocrites, and you don't believe a damn word that you're up there preaching. But the other thing I find very interesting is that Donald Trump hasn't sued any of these people. He's not suing these people telling these stories. He sues everyone else. He sues every company, colleges, news organizations. He's not suing Maria Farmer, who says she ran into Trump at Epstein's home and that Epstein told Trump, no, she's not here for you. He's not suing Epstein's brother for telling these stories. Why is that? And I hope that the judge allows that Wall Street Journal case to move forward because I really, really want to get to the discovery phase. Anyway, another Epstein-related figure has died. This one might be legitimate, though, so we'll see, but the timing is very sus. So Epstein's attorney, his name was Roy Black, or one of his attorneys, he has passed away. He was 80 years old. That's why I say it probably is legit. But anyway, he represented Epstein in the 2008 case where he got that slap on the wrist, where he secured that non-prosecution agreement for all of his co-conspirators. Again, the ones that Pam Bondi and Trump say don't exist. And then Epstein was represented in that case by Black, Alan Dershowitz, and Kenneth Starr, Ken Starr. So Ken Starr, for those who don't know, he was the guy who was like dogged, went after the Clintons, especially with the Monica Lewinsky stuff and other things with Bill Clinton. Not that it wasn't justified, but it's funny to me how Dershowitz and Starr represented Epstein, who is, you know, for legitimate reasons, a boogeyman, you know, or represented, yeah, represented Epstein, who's the boogeyman for the right, boogeyman for MAGA, that they've been after this story for years and years now. But then Dershowitz and Starr become these heroes on the right. Like they were both contributors and guests on Fox News, and especially Dershowitz. So I don't know how they do this pretzel logic and justify the shit that they do. It's like, oh, okay, Dershowitz is a good guy now because he's speaking out against Democrats, even though he represented the most prolific, well-known pedophile on the planet. It's just, it's bizarre. Anyway, no, you can't make sense of it. So I guess, you know, if I was Dershowitz, if I was Starr, I'd be staying away from slippery floors and, you know, glass windows. I know that that's more Putin style, but you never know. You know, I don't know how they do things here, how Donald Trump might do them. Of course, I'm not saying he has killed anyone, but you know, I mean, Epstein did die under suspicious circumstances with broken cameras, guards that happened to fall asleep, you know, and then his most well-known victim, Virginia Giuffre, just happened to take her own life in April, and then Donald Trump is told in May that he's in these documents, and then in June or July they come out and go, "Oh, nothing to see. We're all done. We've closed it up. We've got everything. No one's guilty other than Epstein." So yeah, I would be very careful if I was Dershowitz and Ken Starr. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. I definitely will have more because I guarantee that more is going to come out. I really appreciate all your support. Please like this video. Please share it with others so they know what's going down and all the evidence that we have now, and all the new stuff. Also, if you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. If you can support the show financially, it really, really helps to keep everything running. So I greatly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.